Hello everybody, another live stream, and I can't wait to see everyone. Hello everybody, thank you for joining. Thank you. I'm doing this I'm like streamer now. I'm doing this every week. We did twice a week last week. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you for joining. Very nice to see you. Hello everybody, Christina. Wow, nice. 80 people right away, fantastic. Immediately, fantastic. I'm so happy to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm having too much good time with this. It's fantastic. What a great way to spend Thursday evening with everyone. Hello everybody. From Beijing, oh my God. My uncle lives in Beijing. Hello. From Cambodia. Yeah, if you can tell me where you come from, that will be absolutely, Colombia, if you can tell me where you're coming from, that would be absolutely phenomenal. I say hello. Colorado, yeah, please let me know where you're coming from. Hello, everyone. Sophia, phenomenal. Singapore, hello. Sam, good to see you. Venezuela, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Brazil, oh my God, everywhere. Australia, Melbourne, I'm going to Perth next July. Can't wait. Hawaii, Italy, wow, Beijing. Thank you, thank you. Calgary, Canada.
YouTube also.
Hello, YouTube, everybody. Thank you so much. Everyone, I'm going to share my attention from Instagram to YouTube, okay, everybody. Today, I wanted to just open by saying that how excited I am, how grateful I am with the feedback, the energy coming back last week from our announcement of DUCON, DUCOMPETE. The feedback has been absolutely phenomenal. And I have been having Zoom, my 15-minute chats with the families, with the students, with the teachers. There was one night I had like 5 in a row. And the people just want to have a conversation with me and talk about things. They have a question to ask me about a competition. I'm here. My time is yours. Seriously. And because it's good for my business, it's good for my career and for my professional approach. You know why? Because I know what you're asking. I know your concern. I know what are the things that are on your mind. And I cannot get anything without communication. So thank you so much for giving me the feedback and give me your time. And this kind of communication can only make our program stronger, more perfect, and more purposeful in terms of serving you and providing better product for you guys. Okay, please keep going. And Mr. Josh is gonna provide a link. I think it's just renchildoo.com/booking that you guys can book a Zoom call with me. Anytime, 15 minutes to 30 minutes, we can just chit chat. I have always had a great time talking with everybody. So 16, my only regret is not starting at 13 like you. I started at 9, so I started much earlier at ballet, yeah, because I went to professional school. But anyway, through my conversation with the parents out there, and one question always came up, which is how to choose your very first variation. It's such a beautiful question. In my school, my teacher chose that for us, and very much follow the 3 rules, and we're gonna 3 points. I'm going to explain to you what that is. So the parents have a concern about the vast variation out there. They don't know which one. They don't know which one is best for their child. And we have this beautiful influx of students who is currently in the ensemble piece, they have competed in a group piece, ensemble piece, and starting to have the curiosity and wanting to step into solo roles, step into a soloist roles and competing solos. So that's a huge step forward and require a lot more engagement, both mentally and technicality-wise, and the mental capacity-wise, and just having that particular student alone dance on that stage for 2 minutes long, it seems sometimes it can be a lifelong, life-changing experience for them, if you will. I still remember my first Vivation on stage, and I did Albrecht, Giselle Vivation, Albrecht's second act Vivation from Giselle. My first competition, I was about 14 years old, and I remember vividly how I felt at that time. I went to Beijing. Actually, I went to Beijing Internet Ballet, very first national ballet competition in Beijing. I was about 14 years old. And it was a vocational school, participants only, and it wasn't open to the private students, only open for professional students. So we all compete together, students from Beijing, from Guangzhou, from different parts of China, all from professional schools. And I remember how I felt. It was a tremendous, tremendous experience. And that experience left me imprint in my career. And I close my eyes right now, I remember how I felt at that time. I was at so-called open stage, and I was looking for my teacher. My teacher was out having dinner with his classmates or something. He wasn't there at the open stage. And I remember how absolutely terrifying the experience I had. I felt so alone, and I was petrified. And although I have done that Vivation 1,000 times, but I'll walk on that stage, it was a complete different experience. And when he finally showed up, and I saw him downstage right in the wing, I was just like, wow, my whole world changed. My entire perspective changed. And I became alive again. And literally, I was on stage petrified, frozen, didn't want to do anything. Having students dancing around me, and I was afraid to try anything. I was afraid to try anything and fail and fall out of double tour, fall out of the turns. I felt I was so alone, but my teacher showed up, and I remember how I felt when I saw his face finally. And this is why when I do teachers coaching, teacher training, and I constantly remember your role as a teacher and your responsibility to your students, not only providing them training, but provide the backbone of support. And the trust and beliefs are so important at that moment. So back to the subject, how we choose our first Vivation for your child. I have these 3 points right here, and I follow those rules if I was helping students choosing that Vivation. And I certainly want to be a part of your process. And this is all going to go through our communication together. Book a call with me and sign up for DUCON, of course. So first, temperament and personality, okay? So let's say we have very array of choices. Let's say we have 10 different choices in Vivation, and they all bear a very different speed and energy and texture steps and the outlook of the role, right? So either we're charming and innocent and lovely, or we are energetic and full of a spark, or quick and fast, witty, or we are a young lady who is in love and they show the sense of innocence. And those are the very, very different complex feelings, composition of human feelings, right? So how do we identify in a child? How do we identify that if an 11-year-old or 12-year-old is going to choose his first Vivation? The very first thing we do at this moment is actually just to play the music and play the video of that Vivation for that particular student. I think this is the very first thing to do, because when a child will hear the music, when they see the movement, they have to see themselves in it. When they hear the music, they have to feel the dance within themselves are coming out. They have to feel wanting to dance with the music, although without, particular step, But sometimes when we hear the music and we want to dance and we want to feeling great, and this same goes with classical variation. Sometimes when they hear the music right away, and if for example, Giselle in the first act, when she stepped out, this beautiful girl stepped onto stage and say hello to the mom and say hello to the guests, right away, you can tell some students are totally get it, quote unquote get it. And you don't even have to put them in that mood because when they hear the music, immediately they feel the music, they feel the movement, right? So to me, that step, that variation, that child, it fits with her what? Temperament and personality, right? She's not afraid. She's not confused with that music. And sometimes I see on stage when the students who is a bit shy or not 100% out of the shell yet as a young person, but if we choose a variation who is really out there, let's say, for example, Coppelia, Swanhilda's variation, right? That thing is 2.5 minutes long. And I see a lot of young students are learning that variation. That's for very open-minded. She's full of curiosity, and she wants to do things, and out there she wants to provocative. She wants to make a difference. This girl has a full of energy and not afraid to create troubles. So if your student who is shy, right, who is not 100% sure about everything, and if you teach her that particular variation, first of all, it's 2.5 minutes long. Second, there is a mind, there is acting component to this, right? So that acting part, I tell you, sometimes I teach the students just like that. They get it. I say, hello, please come down and dance with us and look disappointed, just like this. Some students do it immediately. No problem. It was perfect, beautiful. Some students I spent 45 minutes couldn't understand the concept. It's not anybody's fault. It's just their personality. It's not their time yet. But if you give that student, for example, let's say the Giselle peasant part variation, and that she might feel just that much better because it's a little bit reserved, right? She's just a little bit conversational and require less of acting. It's just a beautiful, elegant variation and without any complexity in personality. So first I will see the match, if there's a match in temperament and personality, very important to me, right? So you look at this person, you want to make sure her person or his personality fits with the music. Second thing is technical readiness. Yeah, okay, this is pretty big. Technical readiness is, I have a rule of 3. I'm very specific with this kind of things because I don't like guesswork. Everything I see, I like to put them into a certain category, and that takes the guesswork out of me. So I create this thing called the rule of 3, okay? So what's 3? 3 is 3 things that belong to the strength of this student, right? That's her strong point, strength. And then I single out 3 weaknesses, the things that are not to her advantage. 3, both 3. Then I'm going to do a little math work, okay? And what has to happen is that 3 strong points has to outweigh the 3 weak points, right? So that has to happen in order for me to somewhat on paper convince that this is a right fit for the students. For example, I want to show you, for example. Let's say this student is this variation is full of turns and jumps. Okay, it's a jump and turn and fast speed variation. It's like La Female Garde, when she could come out to the zigzag variation fast. A lot of emboîté turns and a lot of emboîté jumps and a big tombé pas de bras, tombé a big jump. Very fast, a lot of fast footwork. So the rule of 3 says the strength is if this student is quick with footwork, yeah, with a witty personality, and a very strong jumps, strong legs. So the strong in jumps. And this student is a fast, speedy. Her work is fast. She is not a slow student. She has a quick reaction in her plie, in her jump. She has a quick acceleration in the jumps. That's 2, right? So she's a jumper, and she has a quick reaction with the footwork. And 3rd, she is a beautiful turner, because the very last is a step onto a soutenu, and soutenu, not just the actual soutenu, because that's a consistent down and diagonal, require the sensation of the turning, and she's not going to be afraid to turn. And she require a very clear spotting in her diagonal turns, right? So that's 3 strengths of hers, and I want to say, okay, that variation works for her. Then I want to say, well, 3 weaknesses. What are 3 weaknesses? If I say, well, you know, she is not very good with stamina because she gets tired very quickly. Okay, number 1. Number 2, her 5th position isn't perfect yet, because the Impatient, it requires a beautiful 5th position to take off. And everything in the beginning, it's a tombe part where it requires her 5th position isn't that great. Number 2. Number 3, she lacks the turned out. She's not very turned out, right? So that's 3 weaknesses she has and the 3 strengths she has. And when I analyze this variation, I feel if there's 3 things outweighs, 3 weaknesses outweigh the strong points, and she should not be doing this variation, okay? So what I like to see her is whether she has a quick jump, big jump, and quick footwork, and she spots the turn, spots very clear. Okay, this variation is good for her. And if she has just 5th position, this variation it's not slow variation, requires a lot of 5th showing, and the turned out not very nice, but we can work on it. So in my opinion, her strength outweighs her weaknesses. So that's how I analyze it, right? So if this student come up to me, it's very slow, she's very expressive, she has a very beautiful arabesque leg. She's very flexible, she's very long, she's very turned out, she has beautiful feet. And I feel this variation is not good for her. You know why? Because it doesn't have enough areas for her to show her arabesque, because in that particular variation, there isn't a prominent moment for her to show her beautiful arabesque. So her strength, her 3 strengths of hers, it doesn't show. It cannot be used up properly in this particular variation. So 3 strength has to match the quality of the variation. And then we have to analyze the weaknesses, that if is outweigh the strength or not. If it does, we cannot do this variation. So I hope this clear. So we have to do, literally I put on the piece of paper and I have a little analyze of the students. We create a data, what is the strength, what is the weaknesses, then we look at the variation and we just literally match it, okay? So you have to do this work, and it's, because it's weeks of work and resources and the dedication and invest in something like this. Why should we not create a shortcut? Why should we have to go around the circle, try to find and reach our goal, right? So it is a smart way to do this, and I think that require a lot of thinking, a lot of planning, and require a lot of teachers do their research. They have to understand the students, those qualities, and in order for us to make appropriate, not just for that students to have a great learning experience, and also it provides opportunity to feel a sense of accomplishment, right? So this is a very important process, in my opinion. Collect the data and go through it strategically. Third thing, we do have to say, earlier we talked about from the group work, from an ensemble work to a solo work, that's a huge transition. So you have 12 students or even more dance on stage, suddenly become one person. Now that one person has to make all the decisions for herself. This one person has to entertain. This one person has to solve all the problems it might occur on stage. And as I talked about this before, for 11, 10, 12-year-old, the space of a professional stage is vast, like a sea. It's so easy they get lost. I see students completely lost on stage, only use half a quarter of that stage to dance because it's just, you just need that much work to make the transition from ensemble dancer to soloist dancer. Okay, just now, having that said, I wanted to point out to you, those variations are not created for young students. They created for professional dancers who has proper training. Our school did not allow us to learn a variation until we were 14, 15 years old, because they just think that your mind and body is not ready for such a task. But here we are, right? The age is getting younger. I'm the promoter. I am a believer of the system. I believe at the marketplace, everything is there for a reason, right? So it's the evolution. Up until this moment, we are seeing students on stage dancing those variations designed for classical dancer, proper trained for many years, and we have 11-year-olds are doing those things on stage. We cannot change that, right? So if we cannot change that, I like to support it. I like to do my part to make sure that things are being dealt properly and the students have a healthy, engaging, and a proper experience. So the third thing is very important when we analyze this student. These three things. One, maturity. Second, mindset. Third is the mental capacity to endure work and understand setbacks and failure. That's a huge thing. I'm sorry, this is something that we ask adults to do, but we have no choice. We have to look at this child to see if there's a sense of calmness in her disposition. We can see this, we have to see the child if she is using her thought process to understand the situation. You can see it. You don't even have to talk. You can see the disposition. You can see the way they breathe. You can see in their eyes. You can see the way they absorb information, right? The maturity. The same child, same group, same age, you can see the huge difference between children. Right? So sometimes we see students, they are in their eye, they're hungry. You can see it, they're ready for it. They're ready for it. And you can see their work in the group pieces as well. If they are the leader, yeah, perhaps they're not followers, they're leaders, and they are responsibility takers. They're willing to take the responsibility to take the leadership role. And they're at the front, they're not followers, they're leaders. Everybody follow them. Now, to me, that child is that much closer to dance a solo alone on stage. So through your observation, and you can see their disposition. This is mindset right away. Maturity and mindset. What's the mindset? Mindset is a leadership mindset. Somebody can go on stage and collect themselves calmly and to endure and to absorb and facilitate and to understand, digest all kinds of situations on stage. A turn didn't go well. Light didn't come up properly. When you walk on stage, music didn't come on, or wrong music come on. All kinds of situations. Every competition, I see it. I just came back from Philadelphia, I see it. Wrong music didn't play. I see students collect themselves really nicely, right? They just walk off stage, nobody panic. But that quality, it's not everyone has that quality, right? Of course, we can teach them. But in this particular case, it is important to see if the students have the maturity and the mindset to be a leader and not afraid to take charge and not afraid to analyze it and dissolve the problems might come to at them on stage. And what else? The capacity, mental and physical capacity to endure work. What are we talking about work? The ensemble piece, the work compared to soloist work is completely different. because those pieces are designed differently. The ensemble work is designed for people to dance as a group, right? So there is a fellowship, but there's a goal with the group along with other people, and you are not being a sense of put on the spot, correct? So as a soloist, it's very different. So you have to enjoy, your workload is a lot, right? It requires stay up late, required to sacrifice your movies and birthday parties at your friend's house. Does this student have the dedication and commitment to have those kind of sacrifices, right? To accept those sacrifices. The weekends, right? Your friends is out there at the movies and out there, but guess what you have to do? You have to go to rehearsals, right? So the students understand this kind of sacrifice and willing to work extra time to achieve your goals, right? Those things that needs to be communicated with the students to everything on the same page. And what else? It's to understand setbacks and failure, right? More likely, you're not going to become a star or some sensation overnight. There will be multiple times that you see your peers and students, other students who is being called and receiving those awards, but you're not. It's very common. So DUCOMPETE is not going to have 100 different awards and 45 gold medal, 65 silver medal, and 100 bronze medal. We're not going to have that, believe me, right? If we have 80 students, we'll have 45 to 60 students enter the final round. Guess what? We only have first, second, third, Mr. Du's Choice Award, and Audience Favorite Award, and the Grand Prix. That's it for every age category. That's it. There will be no top 45. Believe me, there's no. Okay? So if those things are limited, guess what? It has its value. If these things are mass-produced, has no value. On flip side, the students are not placed, right? If they did not get the first, the second, third, if they did not get the Grand Prix or anything else, they're going to be disappointed. They're going to be left alone, and we'll give a scholarship, of course. But can the students understand the nature of the competition? That we have to, some students don't recover. They don't want it to be a part of it because it's just too painful with the disappointment, which is totally fine. The competition is not for everyone. But for students who are going to participate in such an event, she or he has to understand there might be a big possibility that they will endure disappointments and failure, setbacks, okay? So we have to understand the student have that kind of mental capacity to enjoy that. It's a heartbreaking thing to see. I'm a parent myself. I'm a teacher, I'm a parent. The last thing I want to see is my child hurts, heartbreaking to me. Honestly, sometimes I wanted to let me have the pain. Let me enjoy the pain so it spare my child. I have this kind of thoughts all the time because I'm in the business. In fact, it's not a relief. It's a curse just because I understand how it works. I understand not everyone is going to win the award. And I understand the fear. I understand the heartbreaking feelings. I totally get it. So that's why we have to, as family, as parents, and the teachers, we all have to understand this is a part of it. When you enter the competition, you have to get ready for failure. You have to get ready for setbacks and disappointments. That's just a part of it. If you don't have the mental capacity to or willingness to accept this, don't go to the competition. Because the meaning of the competition is someone win, someone lose. And that's it. If you don't want to have that concept, if you don't want that element in your child's education, don't participate in the competition. You can do master classes, go to festival. It's completely fine. You don't have to have that element in that education. But if you do participate, you have to understand somebody wins, somebody loses. And when you lose, what do? You have to keep working. You have to work hard. You have to come back next year. You come back to the next competition, do better. And that's the motivation. That's the commitment we like to stimulate, to create. But again, it's all choices. Okay, if you're not willing to go through it, you don't go. It's because if you go, there will be there. Disappointment will be there. I can guarantee you this. Now, next question. It's very interesting. I've been thinking about this. Before we go to the next question, let's take some questions. So sometimes I'm just like a go, 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 go. So let's go through this questions. Do you have any tips for become a more well-rounded dancer? Yes. You have to expose yourself because you don't know. That's such a good question. You don't know who you are as a dancer, right? Just like you don't know who you are as an athlete, right? I like to play soccer. To me, it's more intuitive. I guess maybe I was already in a ballet school. For soccer, the way I used my foot is turned out. You can't kick the ball with your toes. So that movement itself, the kick a ball with the heel, that movement itself is very comfortable for me. And the footwork, the coordination, changing weights, I feel very comfortable with soccer. But volleyball, I have hard time to understand, throw myself onto the floor to catch. Physically, I have hard time to understand that. But a lot of other people have no problem with that. They just dive to save a ball. But that action itself, it's a little bit, I have a mental block with that, right? So how do you know this? It's like a different dance. You have to expose yourself to a very different, all different genre dances. Some students, some ballet dancers become ballroom dancers. Beautiful, beautiful ballroom dancers. Because they participate and they feel the love, they feel the in their body, in their mind, they feel that art form is done. But how do you know that unless you participate? Okay, so this is what I want to tell you. And a well-rounded dancer, actually, if you talk about technicality, so I always feel like it's important to understand, to respect, to receive different training, right? The beauty is at the West, we have all kinds of training in our opportunity presented to us. You can have Cicchetti, you can have George Balanchine, you can have Vaganova, and you can have RAD, you have English, you have everything. So in my opinion, every genre, every style, every method has its strengths and weaknesses. So in order for you to become all very rounded dancer, one thing you cannot reject the things that you're not used to, right? Everything has its purpose and has benefits to you for you to become a well-rounded dancer. So don't limit yourself to possibilities and to different type of training. Go out there and take classes from different people. There's enrichments, like we're taking multivitamins, and you take it and it does body well. Okay, that's my recommendation. Don't encircle yourself, create an option for yourself. Now, what if a parent knows what the child is capable of, but her training doesn't open up all her abilities? Well, this is also a very interesting question. Parent, you understand your child, and I think that capacity you talk about, capable of, what child's capable of, you're talking about perhaps her personality, perhaps her nature doesn't back down, let's say, from failure, right? Is that she always wanted to do well. She always never back down from anything. She's a hard worker. She will always commit herself to everything. Great. If that's something you are talking about, the capable, right? Your personality is very strong. But the training, her training doesn't open up all her ability. The training you're looking at here, it might not be in the area that you are familiar with, right? It could be. if your profession is not in, let's say, in classical ballet, you might not see what the teacher sees, right? You might not see the ability, the possibility, the potential, or the limitation the teacher is seeing, right? So in this particular case, your problem right here is the way to solve this problem is a thorough, beautiful, open, detailed communication between you and her teacher. You need to know exactly what is the ability, the possibility that is being capped, is being limited from her school, from her coaching, right? So this is the communication you have to have. Maybe your child at home, he is displaying this vivacious, beautiful energy, everything. But if she's a group setting, perhaps at a school, in front of everyone, she's a completely different student. And I see that all the time because parents told me that's not what she's like at home. She's like full. She's like all kinds of, she's like actor. She's like a Shirley Temple at home. But I see a very shy, very reserved, very timid student. Right? So there could be disconnect. So the communication between you and the teacher can actually help the students grow. Right? So talk to the teachers and say, you know, this is actually her strength, but why is at your school becomes her weaknesses? Right? So this type of things that you need to communicate. Communication is very important. And let's take a couple more. Would the students be able to compensate for the lack of school training on her own? No. No. So you ask me, it's like, well, on her own, let's say I am learning piano, classical playing, piano playing. So if the students is not learning proper, thorough training at school, can the student learn it by herself actually outweighs and create better results, better experience than a coach, than a teacher, having a teacher? The simple answer is no. If it's yes, you need to fire that teacher immediately. If your child is learning playing piano better by herself on YouTube, and your teacher is failed to coach her and teach her and create better results, that teacher is unable to do her or his job. Okay, so the compensation is do the homework from the school, yes, but not anything academic. The teacher's role is absolutely important. Provide the guidance and another pair. You cannot learn classical ballet as a child by herself. It just cannot be done. It cannot be done. Okay, there is a very rare, actually no, never, I never heard of. So no, find a good teacher. If her teacher is not doing her job, you have to change teacher, change school. Teachers should always have the best interest in their student, not anything else. That's a bare minimum quality for a qualified, responsible, a professional educator. Should always have the best benefit, the interest at heart for their student. Ability is a whole other thing. We can train teachers. Teachers can improve just like students as an educator. But at the core, at their heart, if they don't have the best interest in your child, that student is not learning anything from that teacher. So you needed to discover that. So if in your heart you feel this teacher is not putting my child the benefit and the learning experience at the first as a priority, but it's something else, it's she or the school or he is the wrong choice for you. Okay, please. How do you improve artistry? Music. Immerse yourself in other art form, artistic, classical art form. Artistry involves history. We have to understand history in order to understand artistry, particularly in ballet. We have to understand where ballet is born, how ballet was developed, in what environment, in what circumstances the ballet was born, and in what purpose ballet was born, and why ballet has to dance such a way. So we have to study history and music, and we have to understand that what music represents. We have to listen a lot of music, not just to listen the hip hop music we have today, but listen classical music at that time, right? Regardless whether you like it or you're driving, parents driving, put the classical music on, right? Don't do your little book on the, book on tape thing. No, put the classical music. Have your child always at home. When you do your cooking, when you do your own things, everything, don't put the TV on. Don't put anything. Put the classical music on. Because artistry needs to be cultivated, okay? It's not something, okay, there's some people are born with artistic feelings. They feel the music more. They're more sensibility. They have more artistic sensibility. Very gifted. And there's people like that. But the student like that, student needs the environment to get this feeling out of them and make something out of it, right? If the students doesn't have those artistic feelings, then we have to cultivate them, right? Artistry is not just smile at the audience. It's not just to give the best profile to the audience. And when we do Giselle, for example, we have to thoroughly, for example, talk about who she is. And now I am, in my coaching students, if there's a role, doesn't have a name. Giselle has a name, but Peasant-Pas, the same ballet, the Peasant-Pas girl doesn't have a name. You know what I ask my student to do? Create a name. Create a name for that girl. That girl's name is Audrey. Right away, you give a life to the student. Last thing we need to do is say, can you be more artistic? I want to see more artistry. It doesn't just fall from the sky, it lands on your lap, and suddenly you become artistic. It doesn't work like that. It needs actually very difficult because mathematical work, there is a end result, right? There is an absolute clear yes or no, correct or incorrect. Artistry, no, because artistry is up for what? Interpretation. And that just opened door for all kinds of possibilities. So what we need to do is provide students a pathway, give them tools, give them ways for them to think. My idea is give the Peasant-Pas that girl, a name, number one. If her name is Audrey, and what's Audrey's story? Audrey could be Giselle's friend. Audrey just got engaged with this boy, and how they met. How did they fall in love to each other? And what is Audrey's mom's name? What is the father? What the family? They create a fictional story. Right away, this child has much better chance to dance this particular role with true flesh and bone and feelings because she's portraying Audrey. She is not a nameless role that she tried to dance and it's teacher screaming that I want to see more artistry, right? So it's up to us adults to give them tools for imagination, for also open doors to all sorts of possibilities. So artistic feelings are possibilities that we have to open doors for those possibilities for them to have. Imagination, artistic is imagination, innovation. So adults have to do their job and create that environment for them. Just one more. How do you respond to teachers who make you feel uncomfortable because they constantly tell you that you will never go on point because you have flat feet and that you forget to point your toes? Well, this is first of all, how do you respond? This is the teacher of me saying, the best to respond to that is point your feet. Listen to your teachers, okay? So I have, throughout my entire student life, I have teachers screaming at us basically the entire time. It's not talking to or at, it's screaming at, this kind of environment. So I found out the best way to counter this kind of things. Actually, it was really great because first thing you do is reject. When people come at you with such an energy, you reject. Leave me alone. right? I'm doing it already, leave me alone. So that's why I teach the teachers not to yell at students, not to give them such an energy, create a little distance, draw that motivation out of the students. If it's not forced, if it's volunteer, the energy and the problem solving motivation, that's when the real teaching happens. That's where teaching and learning, this is where the environment happens, when beautiful things start to grow. However, if your teacher hasn't got that far yet, or if your teacher is still stuck at screaming at you and everything is your fault, it's things that you're not growing, you're not improving, it's because your lack of this, you're not doing this and this and that. I get it. There's a lot of teachers teaching like that. I get it. Number one, the best thing to do is proving them wrong. Proving them wrong. This is when I learned when I was 15. The best way to shut them up is do better. Not only do what they tell you, you do better, you do more. Surprise them, impress them. That's how you shut them up. I learned that from my own experience. My teacher told me to do clean 3 turns, you never do 3. I tell you, you never, because that was their way of teaching. That so-called methodology is promote the anger in you. Somehow, you know what, you want 3, I'm gonna do 4. That's how I shut you up. I'm gonna do 4. I work so hard, I would create, I look it straight in your eyes, I do 1, 2, 3, 4. Defiance. That's how you're proving them wrong. If they tell you have flat feet, cannot go on point, you work. You look at my videos. You work your feet. You work. I just produced a video of how to simple point exercises. Nobody on point dancing flawlessly right away. I think many teachers forget that. Many teachers forget their role as a teacher. The role of teacher is teach, to provide the educational tool for the students so they can succeed. There's a basic principle a lot of teachers have forgotten. So they think that they tell you to do something, you should just do it. It doesn't work like that. So this is not for teachers, this is for you. So you have to work hard, you have to work smartly, you have to listen to the instructions, because you don't want to give them opportunity to say, listen, I just told you yesterday, you forget this again. So don't forget what they tell you. If they tell you something, you do it. You do it fast and correctly, right? So instead of reject, you participate, right? You get involved. You make a difference. You improve yourself. You prove them wrong. Okay, so if they tell you never go on point, you have a flat feet, your job is proving them wrong. Work hard, use TheraBand, bend your feet, do your tendus, do your homework, have your mom help you. My dad helped me. Flexibility, I was not flexible. My dad helped me at school, at home. I remember vividly my dad helped me with the flexibility with pushing my leg like this. So have your parents support you and do better, proving them wrong. So that's my little recommendation for this. Okay, so I never want to create friction between students and teachers. But unfortunately, many teachers out there, now if a teacher is watching, don't scream at your students, okay? Don't yell at them, don't insult them, don't embarrass them, don't make them feel worthless. This is not help. It's not going to help them improve, right? This is not a way to sort of shedding the responsibility of your own, because the students are not doing anything, so that's why they're not improving. Therefore, I don't have any responsibilities. But I want to tell you, I want to remind you, students, what they're doing, their improvement and their failure, whatever they do, is a direct, not indirect, is direct reflection of your teaching. So if you want to see your students do better, you have to create a better way of teaching, a better way of communicating, and you have to recognize their strengths and weaknesses, and you have to help them. That's your job. Your job is not blame them, not why it's not fitting your expectation. It's your job to make them better. Okay, so whatever they're doing, it's reflect on your skill and ability, period. That's it. Okay, so it's not their fault, certain things not being done. So I want to move on to, this is my favorite subject. I thought about it a lot to this moment, and maybe a little bit controversial, but I'm going to go there. Now, this is my recommendation. What variation not to choose as your first variation? What variation, I'm just going to say it. What variation, for now, let it have a rest. Put away. Put it in the drawer. Lock it. Throw it away the keys. Don't even go there. I'm going to give you 4 variations. For those of you who is already doing those and competing, next month, next week, what have you? Work. You have to go back to drawing board. This is for you teachers. This is for you teachers out there. Those 4 variations I am going to list right now. Don't do it unless do it perfectly. Unless you're like exceptional, amazing, unbelievable. Unless you do this, you have to go back to drawing board. You have to create everything. You have to start from fresh. Start from day one. Analyze each step. Scrutinize every step. Scrutinize every transition. If you've been doing this thing for a year now and you're still competing this one of those 4 variations, please go back to drawing board and go back to your research and come up better version, come up better outlook, or just learning new. Another one from beginning, okay? So here, ready for the list? Here's the list. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm a reasonable person. I'm going to tell you why not to do it. The Princess Florine variation from Sleeping Beauty, commonly called the Bluebird. Number 1. Number 2, this I feel very exciting to finally get this out of my chest. This is like therapeutical, truly therapeutical for me to get that out of my chest. I'm speaking for a lot of jury members out there. I tell you right now, I'm doing you guys a favor by saying this, okay? I'm serious. Second one, fairy doll. Please. This whole thing, this whole headpiece, like a bunny's ear thing, don't do it. Please don't. I'll tell you why later. Fairy doll. And then the least variation from La Female Garde. That one. Okay? Then, graduation ball. You need to graduate from graduation ball. I'm not joking. I'll tell you why. I feel so much lighter. I feel like 50 pounds off my shoulder when I say this. Seriously, I'm not joking. For those of you who is doing this right now, you gotta be perfect. Please, you gotta be perfect. Otherwise, why? Number 1, overdone. It's been 5-6 years now. I have seen, I have judged, I have coached thousands. I have to say, let's say 1,000 times. Each one of those, 1,000 times. I judged, I coached, I watched, everything. It's just overdone. You understand? So what's the problem with overdone? You flood the market. If your competition has 50 students at your age group doing the same variation, what do you have to do to stand out? You have to be so exceptional in order for you to stand out. Because I look at the Bluebird. Give me 4 counts. I already know what's happened afterwards. This is how experienced I am as a male teacher with the female variations. I already know the outcome of your performance. I can already tell. 4 steps, I already know. Why? Because second point, it's hard. It's because it's so revealing. This is a technical, this is not emotional thing, I'm telling you right now. Bluebird, the Bluebird pas de deux is a principal dancer, absolute full-fledged principal dancer role if it's big theater. Because it's a very simple disguised simplicity. But behind simplicity, it is absolute unforgiving technical expectations. Because you upstage center, you have to understand, you when you start center and you dance down this way, you have nothing to hide. Especially for this variation. If you don't have a perfect à la seconde, turned out feet looking like this, and beautiful épaulement, and come back to a coup de pied, and you Barre forward, what are we looking at? What are we looking at? If you don't do the beautiful fouette and showing me that first arabesque flat, toes toward one wing, head toward the other, you're in complete flat. Let me ask you something. If you're sending in a application for a summer intensive, they ask for a picture. Normally ask 2 pictures, sometimes 3. One is a headshot. The other is the à la seconde tendu. They want to see your feet. What's the third one? First arabesque. Why? Because in the professional eye, I look at the first arabesque. It's like a map. I see everything. I see your training. I see your weakness. I see your strength. I see everything. You just like, it's cruel. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. It took me 4 seconds. I look at the picture. I know exactly your training from first arabesque. Guess what's in the bluebird? That fouette. You don't just pique into the first arabesque. You fouette into it. You're supposed to grand bas front through à la seconde and go to the first arabesque and have a stylistic pose like this. And the people choose that as your first variation. So if you don't have a beautiful à la seconde leg, and you don't have a beautiful arabesque leg, what's the point? Do something else. Fairy doll. Guess what you do the first? Da 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 da. So you come out. I sang the wrong music. You come out. What for your first step? Pique arabesque. You do little développé. You pique arabesque. You're not done. You plie releve again. You plie the little pas de break. Then what we see? Little retiré. 5th position. Retiré. 5th position. Sous-sous. Plie. It's supposed to be on chassis. That's it. That's 1-8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. 1-8. I see everything. So I'm glad I have this opportunity to explain to you. Just 1-8. It contains all those ingredients in the classical ballet that's so sacred to them. You know, for a judge, for a ballet teacher, first pique arabesque, it's like, I don't know, it's a sacred. You understand the word I'm trying to tell you? It's a sacred. So which is one spectrum. If you do it perfectly, they're like, wow, beautiful, thank God, beautiful. They become emotional and they give you all kinds of scores. If you give just a perfect, there's such a thing, perfect, because it's inspiring. The beautiful first pique arabesque is absolutely inspiring. So if I see a 12-year-old with perfect feet, with perfect turned out, and a beautiful leg in the back, give me a beautiful plie and releve, and a perfect little pas de break, and a sous-sous with a perfect épaulement, and a jump, that's it. Stop doing anything else. That's all I need to see. Honestly, I wish I can just stop right there. Done. I'm done. Literally. You ask every ballet teacher, is that true or not? They'll tell you it's true. That 1-8, that's it. However, on the flip side, if you don't do this, let's say, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if your pique arabesque, the weight is not over the hip, the demi-point is low, your shoulder is somewhere here, or when you go down to the plie, when you come up, the leg drops in the back, and that's it. That's how many counts? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's 4 counts. Right? So then I see if you don't have an épaulement, and 5 and 6, that's training right here. It's an épaulement in relationship, chin in relationship to your shoulder. A beautiful épaulement, that's your training. If you don't have that, I see, well, the lack of training is absolutely revealed. So it's a very revealing, understand? So it is not cute. It's not about cute with the headset. It's not about that. It's just about technicality. It's about appropriateness. It's about whether you are ready for something like this or not. That's the same thing with the least variation from La Female Garde. I see teachers doing everything they can to change it, to get around it. Instead of actually you require a lot of endurance to repeat the second time, and they create all sorts of different variations, different type of choreography just to get around it and get around. And guess what that turn look like? I tell you. You know very well when you do pirouette. Downstage en face is hard. On stage, the teachers, if you have never performed before, you might not understand that, and I hate to say this. On stage, it is much easier to do the turn, to do the pirouette to the corner, because you don't have a strong spotlight on your face to the corner. Somewhat fourth position to the corner is easier to deal with than en face. Right? You will face the audience because you look out, you don't have any spot, you don't see anything. And guess what? If this heel, I look at this heel right here, if this heel doing something funky, if this you go up, everything's so revealing en face. Guess what you have in that variation from La Female Garde? All turns en face. Every single turn en face. Every one of them. Barre forward, 2 turns en face. It's hard for a professional dancer to do pirouette en face. It's hard. Graduation ball, overdone. So the first thing you come out, if you have plie relevé, the à la seconde is perfect. Your feet is like this, and it showed me a beautiful triple pirouette. 1, 2, 3 down. If you show me this, yes, do it. If you have a beautiful arch, flexible, turned out, everything legs up right next to your ear, then do it. If you don't have that, don't. So that's just there's a lot of choices out there. It's require teachers to do your little research, and the internet is a beautiful place to be. And do your research. Go to YGP finals. Go to the finals. All this videos is in archived in the YouTube channels, YGP, and take a look. The finals, yes, the last year's finals. You take your time one Sunday afternoon. You just look the entire program, and I bet you anything you'll find something in there. This might be suitable for my student. This might be suitable for her. If we change the here a little bit, here and there, that's all work. This all work. We cannot just be, oh, what's my variation? First variation, oh, bluebird. That cannot be the next sentence come out of your mouth without any research or study. And let alone, you just talked about one of the hardest variation, in my opinion, for a child. Those are hard variations to compete, and it's very difficult to show the exceptionalness of the student, and it's very easy to show your weakness. It's very exposed, and unfortunately, we see them hundreds of times. And just another thing, maybe it's unprofessional part on my end. The jury member, when you hear the music, they are just a bit of tired. I just have to say that. They're just a bit tired. They wanted to be impressed. Their expectations are higher when they hear those music. When they see those dancers, their expectations are higher just because how many people are doing those variations. So is there any questions that we can take a look? Because physically speaking, what is the most important area dancers should focus on training in the beginning? Fundamentals. I can tell you right now. Port de bras, arm positions, leg positions, alignment, And 3, I talk about the holy grail, 3 things. Plie, tendu, 5th position. That's it. Those are the things. Let's say you want to grow a plant, you want to grow a flower. Those are the soil. Those are the pH balance. This is nutrient. This is everything. Everything. The soil. The soil, the arts can grow on top of it. 5th position, tendu and plie. Those are DNA, the holy grail of ballet technique. And then it's the arm positions. What is arm position? What is the proper alignment? And bare minimum. Remember, I say all this now. I haven't said a word about turnout flexibility or arch of your foot. I haven't said a word about that. Right? Everything I said up until this moment, it's all achievable for everyone. Achievable for everyone. Correct arm position does not only belong to the students with perfect rotation and flexibility. You can do a perfect arms. Arms needs to be perfect. And épaulement, head position needs to be clear. That does not limit to the students who has perfect legs and feet, no. Correct? So 5th position, yes, maybe. Tendu, no. The texture of tendu, the correct muscle memory and engagement with the floor, the proper tendu does not only limit to the students with arch, no. Plie too. Yes, turned out we can work on, but the sensation of it turned out, everybody can bend their knees, right? Those are the things that needs to be absolutely worked on, trained, and spend the time. And remember I said ballet is academic, right? Ballet is it's like anything intellectual, anything require technicality. It has a idea of fundamental blocks that we have to have, just like a math, right? Mathematical work. We cannot teach students some kind of complex formula without stages of training. It's the same thing. Even in something like literature, writing, English, that you need to know what? Words, spelling, vocabulary, and grammar. You need to know all these things before you can write things, correct? So we cannot teach students how to write a novel without giving them proper tools. So improper tools in our business is 5th position, is turned out, is rotation, is flexibility, is the way we do tendu, is plie, is épaulement, and port-de-bras. Those are the things, are fundamental blocks for technique to grow on top of it. Nobody can skip that way, nobody. Even if, let's say, I am so gifted, I am born, I'm so flexible, my foot, you want me to tendu, I'm perfect, everything. I'm just born ballet dancer. There's no such a thing as born ballet dancer because ballet needs training like anything else. Especially, actually, for the physically gifted students, they have equal amount of responsibility and a task to be accomplished, just like a less gifted students. They have their own different challenges. This is like beautiful. I always feel like ballet is a democratized format. A lot of times say, the ballet is exclusive. It's only belong to the students with such and such. It's absolutely not true. This has always been my mission in teaching ballet because ballet learning, correct learning opportunity belong to everyone, If I am so turned in, if I am so lack of flexibility, my foot is flat, nothing, but what about your upper body? Everything I just described, it does not stopping you to have a perfect épaulement, to have a beautiful port-de-bras, to have a beautiful upper body, to have a beautiful carriage, elegance. It does not limit to you do that. So what I see in a competition is actually students fail to accomplish in areas can be easily accomplished through time and training. Yeah, so that's, if you say, I'm not doing 5 periods, so I cannot impress judges, it's not true. What impress judges is the things that, the details I'm talking about. It's the details in transition, it's in improvement, it's in your musicality, it's the way you describe the role, it's how you use your eyes, it's how inspiring you are with your expression, it's how you feel the music. Those are the things, if I see those qualities in a child, I'm impressed, right? I don't need to see a 5 period jump like incredible jumps because you're not there yet, your muscle tone is not there yet, right? But however, on the flip side, if I see things that need to be accomplished, should be accomplished, but not, let's say improvement, musicality, port de bras, a proper port de bras, right? Those are things that needs to be accomplished, that does not require perfect turned out, does not require flexibility, anything like that. It takes time. But port de bras you can work on. Musicality you can work on, right? So to me, that's something that I feel, that's my little, my little explanation of that. Any tips on not collapsing when landing in the tour and a full turn? Cushion, hydraulics. You have to think about like a very cushioned turn, a vehicle, let's say. After a turn, you cannot land thinking about from one direction, one area, directly land to another level. There is in between. And what it makes the cushion, what makes soften the landing from the jump or turn is what I just talked about earlier. It's a plie. Plie is a thing, it's answer for most of the problems. It's a plie, proper plie. Plie acts as the brakes in your car. Can you imagine if you drive a car without the brakes? And that's what plie does, to help you accelerate and slow down. To create that, every transitional step is in plie format. It's in plie position, most of them, right? So we have to understand how our muscle feels in plie. So where the plie come from? Where does a beautiful plie come from? Technique class. Now that's another complaint that I'm going to express my complaint. I see students at your age, 11 years old, not take technique class. Technique class is just a warm up. You go in there, you do a couple of tendus like a professional dancer, do just a warm up, jogging like around the studio. Right away, do a variation. It cannot be done. Let me tell you one more time. If somebody's practicing this way, there is no pathway for them. There's no road to success for them because at one point they will hit the wall. At one point they'll hit the wall because this is like borrowed money. At one point you're gonna have to pay back. You're using borrowed time and borrowed money. At one point the shortfall, the things that are lacking that you didn't do, they're not going away, right? If I spend 5 years to perfect my tendu before I start doing a variation, if I spend 5 years to perfect my plie, my fondue, to make sure my grand jeté is big, my double tour fully using my leg, then you say, I'm going to skip that 5 years. I'm going to be doing a double tour as good as yours. I can tell you that never happened. That will never happen in ballet as a business, as an educational method. Never work. It's not computer. I'm going to create a supercomputer today. I'm going to outdate your computer overnight. Yes, happens every single day. A new product, a new things, a new app coming out. But in ballet training, because you're dealing with what? Dealing with our body. For 250,000 years, this body of ours hasn't really evolved. This is what we look like 250,000 years ago. Mind evolved a lot. Brain, capacity to think, to innovate, imagine. Credit to arts. But the body still takes the time. So a pianist, piano is the instrument. Guess what, a dancer, what is your instrument? Your body. And that's not something works like a computer. Understand? So we have to understand this, and it takes time. Things that we usually talk about. How do we keep the plie? So any tips to keep the knees super straight in a turned out position? You have to do tendus, right? So tendu is like, we don't never graduate from tendus. So why tendu is hard? Because human learn how to walk is lift or knee. It's like a horse gallop. A horse doesn't gallop like this. They lift their knee and they put one foot forward. That's how we walk. That's human walk, correct? And the tendu asking you to do something very different, because coordination-wise or mind take a long time for us to accept the idea of tendu, because we have to stretch our knees before we can move our leg out to front, side, or back. This stretch position is not something, it's not a sensation we used to, right? We used to pick up, bend our knee to move out. That's why it's very natural for the students to bend their knees for tendus. It's not their fault. It's embedded in their coordination. So for us, that's why tendu is an exercise that we have to do every single day, and to train our body to accept that the idea we move our leg with stretched knees. So tendu is exercise for that. Yeah? So, and now we'll come back to our, let's come back to our subject. And moving on, the subject is, next bullet point I have right here is what learning variation should look like. So the process, what should look like. You say, if I wanted to test and to do, to test well, I hire a tutor and something like this, right? If I wanted to do my exam well academically, I hire a tutor, I do these things. So what do we do for variation coaching? And a couple of things here I'd like to share with you. I like plan. So here is a strategic planning. Strategic planning. That includes which variation, we talked about which competition, and what is the working time span. How is that concept fitting with your schedule? Every family has a calendar. Every family has a schedule. Every family is different. What you want out of this training is a bit different. So how is this project fitting into your calendar? That is actually very practical thing to think about. It's not just a task you can just take on. It's something that requires strategic planning. So one of the things is understanding various competitions that all bear different characteristics. Understand, not all competitions are the same. So we talked about this before. Every competition serving a different population, not exclusively, but let's say this competition is multi-genre. Ballet is just one of them, right? This competition is just about dance. You can enter modern dance, contemporary dance, jazz, lyrical, and ballet. So you're being judged in broad spectrum genre. Okay, so that's one of them. I think that takes less pressure out of the ballet dancers, because you enter not directly competing with another 50 students doing the same variation, right? You're competing with somebody's jazz dancer. So it takes a little bit of pressure out of you. And some competition is on the other spectrum, is a classical ballet based. Let's say DUCOMPETE. It's classical ballet based. In DUCOMPETE, we don't have jazz, and nothing wrong with it. I love jazz, I love different genre, I love everything. But it's just, in DUCOMPETE, it's just classical variation. And this is something we do well, and I wanted to keep it and just to serve. I don't want to open up a lot of big spectrum that I cannot serve them all perfectly. I want to only serve these things that we do well, right? I know my limitation, and this is what I wanted to do. So you will have to see. If I only want to do the ballet, I would go to something like DUCOMPETE. I wouldn't go to a competition with a lot of other genre to be involved. I want to have my resource, my time to be concentrated, to be compounded in the way that I can benefit the most out of it. Okay? And what is my goal? This is some question that we all have to ask ourselves. What's your goal? it's for the competition purpose, experience, which is build the confidence. If I was shy, I will enter a competition. Just give me that experience dancing on stage to see what I'm made of, to see what that experience bring to me, and let me have the opportunity to overcome some of my difficulties like shyness or not confident. So it's for the competition experience or for the training, right? So it's an evaluation of my training. I learned this variation and I wanted to be evaluated by an international body of the judges, right? So it's for the training, evaluation, assessment of my training. Not just my teachers say I was amazing, but I want to see what other teachers think of me as a dancer and what I needed to do to improve, right? So that's a beautiful, beautiful purpose. And beautiful thing, master classes. And I applaud all the competitions out there. Nowadays, not just you pay the money, you enter, and for a competition, you actually have experience to take classes from master teachers, jury members. They all bring the wealth of experience, knowledge, and artistry, and they even just the way they experience it. Sometimes I watch my colleagues teaching, and I'm just, wow, that's a beautiful way to put it. Like, I wouldn't think to explain things this way. Look, he's explained it this way. How he or she is making the connection with the students, that's something I can learn from. So students can learn from very different teachers. And although they all talk about turned out, they all talk about rotation, they all talk about plie, but the way they talk about it, the way they express such an idea is different. So for the master classes, for you to the exposure to beautiful teachers from all over the world for master classes or scholarships. So this summer, I want to go to study abroad. I want to go to Europe. I want to go to America to experience what foreign ballet school feels like, right? So I want a scholarship. I want to see if I can get a scholarship. And that's one way to do a participate competition to receive scholarships. And all these things is for you to analyze it, and those questions we have to ask ourselves. And the beauty is we have so many different opportunities out there, and it's open. It's for us it's the open opportunity for us. So choose what you want to do, and then put on the calendar and have a beautiful planning process. The fourth one I want to say here is set realistic goals. If this is your first competition, you say, I'm going to win the gold. Probably you need it several times. You needed to feel, because every variation is 2.5 minutes longest, right? They're around 2 minutes long. So you work harder, you go up there, you dance the variation for 2 minutes, okay? So it takes quite a few experience just to learn about yourselves, just to learn about your who you are as a dancer. Yeah, all these turns, sometimes it didn't work for no reason. You didn't know why it's not working. It takes a few competitions for you to understand, oh, this is why. When I'm on stage, I am a bit nervous. I forget to plie. So it takes quite a few times for you to understand your body function, how your body function under those circumstances. Because 2 minutes, you blink an eye, it's done. It's done. And then you don't even know. Your mind is sometimes, students, I've been there, so nervous. Your body language, like you're an autopilot. You just go through the motions. Your mind is not keeping up the process because your mind is almost frozen. It's so nervous. It takes a few times for you to understand who you are and how you are under those circumstances. So you have to set realistic goals. You cannot be like, I'm going to win a gold today. Has happened, yes, but not very often. Not very often. Because while you're working hard, guess what other people are doing? They're also working hard. While you are, Saturday night at the studio, so does other people. You know what I mean? Like there's quite a few factors that you needed to take into consideration so you can come ahead. So it's a strategic planning. Choose the proper variation that show you the best. If you're not Turner, don't pick a variation full of the turns. That's just common sense. If you're not a jumper, don't do the jump. Don't do that variation in Giselle that full all the grand jetés. If you're not a jumper, if you don't jump well, don't create something that you don't don't participate something. It's not your strong point, right? It takes all the proper planning and the detailed engagement and participation and having different teachers to look at it. That's why I have blueprint. I'm gonna actually show you how I do it. Students send me a video. Perhaps the teacher have seen it for like 3 months, and they're a little bit of sensitized, desensitized, and so let me take a look. A pair of fresh eye, I can see. I can tell you 2 things. I can tell you what you do well, because that also needs to be said. That also needs to be recognized. Why? It can maintain it. Right? It can retain the strength, because if you don't recognize this is the quality of yours, it might go away. You might let it go. So I wanted to let you understand what is your strength, what is something you do so well. So you're aware of it, just like how you're aware the things that you needed to do better. Both needs to be understood and captured. One needs to preserve and keep it, the other needs to improve. Both sections needs to be absolutely work together. And that it requires a detailed teacher, like obsessed with this kind of things, in order for it to be articulated properly. So we're gonna show you how I do it with a video, and this video is sent in from a very beautiful school in Singapore. First Point, this beautiful student, and I'm gonna review this, and I'm gonna show you how I do it, use the technology Loom, and how I coach her, how I create a video for her, okay? So different pair eyes also can help, okay? Now I want to talk about, we're almost done. Yeah, we're almost done. So I wanted to talk about how to coach and correct from parents' point of view, right? I'm a parent myself. So what is our role in all this besides paying and driving them from point A to point B and worry about everything? What is my role in all this, right? Number one, understand holistic approach, which is spectrum of training. So what you want to avoid is to limit this child to a single variation. That's all you do for 6 months. Now, there is a little epidemic out there. I'll tell you what it is. Because certain variation, they all have very different things, right? Let's say the variation, there's a lot of jumps. And I see students develop knee issues. So students come to me and say, mom come to me, the knee, it's like, the doctor said there's a fluid in there. Like, she's so young, why does she develop like a fluid in there? That means inflammation, there's irritation. Fluid, the water inside the knee is how we protect our knee. Why an 11-year-old develop such a problem? Then I look at their training regimen. She's been doing this variation for 6 months, participated endless competitions of this variation. Between competitions, training at the single variation. Because a tear wear to your body from one single variation, this is something, I'm not a doctor, but I know I'm right. If you don't do the ballet class, which teach you the plie, teach you tendu, teach you jeté and fondu, the systematic training to prepare your body, to improve your technique, to support your variation coaching, if that element isn't there, all the body of young body is subject to abuse, relentless abuse from what? From the certain steps, perhaps associated to that particular variation. You understand? Tear and wear without the support of technique class. So please do not be obsessed with a variation about competition. And that's not what ballet is all about. Ballet is about training, about process. In the process, we build this character. Yeah, competition is a part of it, yes. It can build in a part of your training, but we cannot let this competition thing overtaking everything. Okay, holistic training, very important. Just like a previous message said, how can I be well-rounded? Guess what? What is well-rounded? Is participate other genre, other activities to make sure you have the exposure to different art forms and even in dance alone, a different dance. And to create a correct mindset, right? So we're not obsessed with one thing. And that creates, it's not healthy. It is not healthy. Parents not overly involved and become a part of the training and get a sense of accomplishments through your child's success. I see parents sometimes, perhaps, I'm going to go through a little analytic and analyze some situation here. Perhaps some moms, this is their childhood dream, but they never had never had experience that their child is having right now. So they wish this. I'm not making this up. I mean, in this for a long time. I have seen. Actually, is a very, very wide range. Not just one case. Many cases I have seen it. The child's success, accomplishment become a part of their own because that is the process, that is the experience they never had when they were a child. So by overly involved in child training, the child become proxy, they become a thing they live through. They live through the excitement, the engagement, the accomplishment through the child. So when the child doing competition, they feel like they're doing it. Right? So when this kind of sensitivity, when this kind of intensity involved in this whole project, can you imagine the pressure on the child? If you're not going to say, okay, you're out there dancing for mommy. Mommy's out there dancing with you. You're not going to say that, are you? No, of course not, right? But your feeling, they can sense your feeling out there. They also can sense your disappointment because as though you didn't succeed. So your success, your enrichment to life, your intensity, your joy, you cannot put that kind of pressure on your child, please. This is not a thing to do. Okay, so here what do we say? Your statements are absolutely sensible, Mr. Du. They sound they sound at the same time. And amazingly simple and technically correct. This is art and science. Thank you for pointing that out. And for all parents, you have to understand we live our life, they live their lives, and we support them, we love them, and knowing your shortcomings, which is you're not professional, let the professional do their job. And on that end, I have to say, if you don't trust the school, if you don't believe, you have to ask yourself as an adult. You ask your question: ask yourself, is my child's teacher has the best interest in my child? Would she go out of her way to protect her? Would she protecting her from harm? Will she do the best she can to provide the safest, the most valuable teaching experience, learning experience for my child? If your answer is no, you have to take that child out of that school right away. That's the question I ask for myself. Because you are having your child with that teacher, with that school, hours per week. You're not there teaching them. You're not there to educate them, motivate them, and inspire them, and give them all kinds of guidance, everything. That teacher is. So if you don't think that teacher can do such a job, you're risking your child's future. You're risking her mind and body in that environment. I will take that child out in a second. If I don't feel that my child's school does not have the best interest and benefit and heart in my girls, I will not spend another day having my child in that school, period. And that is a responsible thing to do. So in the case of you you do love the school, you think this school is phenomenal, you do the responsible and I feel safe, then trust the school. Then hands off. Let the professional do the job. If you don't trust they will do it, take them away. Go to somewhere else. There's plenty of school. There are plenty of beautiful teachers. So that's something we have to do it. It's a hard question. The idling is no good. The idling, hoping something happens. You know never happened. You know very well. If you already made up your mind, this teacher is horrible, this teacher is like mean, this teacher can never change, and you still subject your child to that, that's your fault, not anyone else's. I'm sorry, that's your fault. Okay? So, playing supportive role, understand, you have to give the space to you have to give a space. Okay? We cannot pestering, we cannot be on top of it, we have to give a little space. Especially when they are under stress, let's say in a competition. Okay? You don't need always on top of them, feeding them, giving them stuff, asking them 100 questions. Please do not. They don't need to eat a cheeseburger before they go on stage. They do not. They do not. They're not going to be hungry. They're not going to starve. Yes? Don't be around. Don't spread your nervousness. I've seen the parents do it all the time. I'm sorry. I see them in the theater. I see them at the registration table. I see them backstage. I see parents giving students corrections where you're not an expert over the teacher. Please stop. You're not helping. I know you're nervous. I'm nervous too. I'm so nervous. When I see my child perform and compete, I'm very nervous. I choose to stay away. That's my choice. I'm not as strong as you. I don't do it. I stay away. I let the professional do it. I let her teacher take charge, take control. My colleagues, DUCON teachers, the teacher that I work with. So if I don't trust my child with my teachers who works with me in DUCON, they're not going to work on your child. That's my promise. You understand? So the teachers at DUCON also work with my student. I trust them with all my heart. So if you don't have that kind of feeling, then you have to go somewhere else. Right? Let the professional do their job. And with DUCON, if you sign up, we have all private time. It's between you and me, right? So we have exclusive workshops together every quarterly, I think. And it's just my time with you. I'm here to answer all of your questions. What kind of makeup, what kind of thing. If I don't have a proper answer for you, I find it for you. Understand? So I will share with you all my experiences, and I will not hold back. I will not hold back. I have gotten pretty honest, and I think honesty is the best way to go. I am not shy away from certain topics, which I believe very strongly. And so you do need to know the answers, and I'm here to provide you. I'm going to do the best I can to give you those answers and to support you any way I can. Here, hold on a second, let me read something. Hi, Mr. Du, how do you find a balance between sports and dance? My daughter is 9 years old and she's equal passion, both soccer and dance and jazz. It's a beautiful thing. You just have to make schedule work. It's a tedious work. It's just about the balance is time and energy and resting time in between. It can be done. It really can be done. At one point, you have to choose though, right? At one point, because my daughters were doing piano and the ballet at the same time. So at one point, we have to give up the piano situation because they just don't have time to practice both. They don't have time to, they end up not progressing, you know what I mean? Like, it become exhausting, right? So it was a hard choice to make. They both loved playing piano, but we just don't have practice time. So we give up piano. But at the meantime, for you, you have to make the schedule sensible. You have to make the schedule work, number one, and don't overwhelm them, right? You don't have to be, and and super child in both subjects. And I have seen students are like a concert pianist and also participate in ballet. It can be done. There's a DUCON student like that, phenomenal student, but rare, very rare. They have some time management skills that are not very common in other child. So make the balance work, make sure you apply enough resting time in between. And time will tell. At one point they will choose. They will say, "Hey, mommy, I want to play soccer. I don't want to dance anymore." At one point that you will become that moment. You would know that moment. Say, "Hi, Mr. Du, are there any tips to keeping parents consistent?" Well, practice, right? Consistency comes from where? From practice, right? I'm not trying to create a shortcut to answer that question. It's true. It's like anything else, like playing piano, play violin, you need to practice. The period is a highly skilled step. Think about all your body weight, whatever that you weight, 100 pounds, 95 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever that you weight, okay? 100 pounds, let's just put that way, 100 pounds. You have to turn on what? 5 toes of yours. Not only that, the shoulder, the arms, the stomach, the spine, the head, the hips, the toes, everything else has to have a specific shape and form. While you turn on your 5 toes. I just want to put this out there. I'm not trying to dramatize the things. It's a highly skilled step. So it's supposed to be wobbly. It's supposed to be not comfortable. It takes a lot of time. Goes back again, it's your technique class. You don't never just practice period forever. No. Every plie you do, every tendu you do, every fifth position you get yourself into, every demi point that you sustain your body, and every balance that you have on your retrograde position, all going to support that effort. Okay, so practice. There's no shortcuts to that. All you are saying is so true. Putting too much pressure on the students might cause the students to burn out. Yes, we don't want that. We don't want that. And I see students burned out. You can see in their body. Parents, don't tell me you cannot see it. You can. You can see in their eyes. You can see their love is gone. It's a very fine line between love and hate. If you're doing something so much, it becomes involuntary. It becomes something they'll feel, I'm doing something for someone else, not for me, for everybody else's accomplishment. I see that in competition all the time. Parents and teachers more disappointed than the students. So students just relieved that it was over. The parents get all emotional and everything else, and I see at lobby at a competition, it's like you see everything. Please, we cannot, everything we have in life that we have to, your child have her time or his time to experience your stress. Okay? So let them be child now. Let them have the childhood that they deserve. Don't subject your stress. Don't subject whatever that you have in life on your child in the name of ballet or competition. Please don't do it. I'm not making this up. I see it all the time. So for the long run, it's not helpful. Right? That's the whole thing I was talking about. Leave a little space. Give them little space. Okay? So we have, wow. I love live stream. In order for me to make videos to address all this, it's going to take a long time and a lot of resources. This is phenomenal, really great. My daughter just turned, and here's the thing, I'm going to read it, okay? My daughter just turned 7 years old this month, and what would be the best real variation? First real, 7. My question for you. Her last was demi character, red writing, beautiful. 7 years old, this is, in my opinion, it's a little bit too young to learn like a real variation. But if we use a variation as a learning opportunity to just give her, to get the motivation, get the love, get the training out of her, like use variation as a vehicle. If you think this way, okay, that would be absolutely beautiful. Because if she's already learned Red Riding Hood, which is a beautiful from Sleeping Beauty, maybe we can subject her to another the variation, make a watered down version of it. Yeah. So the things, there's a beautiful variation from Sleeping Beauty you can learn. Not Bluebird. But you know what you can do? You can register us for me with the blueprint. We have a beautiful product. It's called the blueprint, the road to success. So, send me a video of her riding Red Riding Hood, and let me take a look at her. Maybe I'll give her a little suggestion, because without knowing her, I'm afraid to give the suggestions. Yes. So I needed to at least see her in technique class. At least let me see her in her existing. Give me a video that I can take a look at her potential, and then I'll give a proper variation. But anything, you have to show her cuteness. I mean, she's 7 years old. I'm sure she's cute in that piece. But what are suitable variation for on-point performance for the first time? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. And the answer is I don't have one, unless I see the student. Because I tell you what, because point technique challenges every variation in very different ways. It's the DNA of the technique is literally just a plie releve. Just plie releve. That's it. Think about it. All boils down to all point technique. It's come from plie releve, from this movement right here. Jump, échappé, susu, piqué, pirouette, everything. Because nothing can be done with straight leg on point, right? In the artistic sense. So I needed to know how old is this child. I think I have to think about it. I don't want to give an irresponsible answer to it. I just can't. I needed to see her first. I need to see her temperament, just like how we talk about. I need to see her technical ability and where she is at in order for me to make that suggestion. What are some female variation to show off your leg line? Which line? Front leg and side leg and the back. Which line? Right, so I needed specific. And if she's beautiful arabesque, there's a beautiful variation, the slow variation in Paquita. All it does is pique arabesque, pique arabesque, pique arabesque, plie little jump. If she has glorious arabesque, that would be my choice. Right, so that's a beautiful variation to have if somebody have a beautiful line, because then later on you go to Alasigon, go to arabesque. So that would be my choice. So can I see the list? That's it, yeah? Any plan to prepare? Are you planning to prepare kids for YG via Zoom? Yes. I've been doing this for a long time. I coach students. I private coaching students, although the spots are very limited. They're often sold out very quickly. But the blueprint, it really, really works. So I actually like to show us what I do with the blueprint situation. Okay, what I do with the blueprint. And I'm just gonna organize myself a little bit because I know I'm gonna stand up for this. So I'm going to use this app called Loom. And sometimes you see on YouTube and social media, and you see people explaining things while the video is going on there in the back. So this is the app for it. So I'm just gonna get myself organized. So this variation is a variation from Giselle, is a student from First Point, a school called a beautiful school from Singapore. And this student sent this video to me a few days ago, and I have a written document and everything that how I feel about this performance. Now, what I do now is I'm going to coach her on this video. There are times I'm going to stop to show the student where I think her foot or leg or face should be. And so this is the process. I want to show everybody this process.
They want to see it, they have to go to YouTube.
Yeah, so if you want to see it, please go to YouTube. Just RUN, my name, Rinchao Do Ballet Coaching. Go to YouTube, we're doing over there because I cannot do it over here. So please, you can use another device, just go to YouTube for it. Because YouTube is gonna look at my camera. The camera is gonna look at my computer. So I show you exactly how I do it, okay? So, and then I'm gonna send the video to everybody if you're not able to see it. So, I'm just gonna do this. Normally, sometimes I have to edit the video, sometimes I don't, it depends. And I'm gonna get up because I have to do, demonstrate everything. So I'm just gonna get up and remove my chair and give myself a little space. So this is just a demonstration to show you how I create a Loom video to coach a student, okay? So just hold on just a minute. Don't share it yet, just hold on. Mm-hmm. So let me set myself up for this. Hold on a second. And you know, I do this, I can do it pretty nicely, easily, and it's going to be like a package for the students with the questions and the things special notes that I have for the students. So, this beautiful student's name is Liang Xin Yan. Liang Xin is her name. Xin, I think her name is Xin Yan. Liang is the family name. Xin Yan is her name. I'm gonna call her Xin Yan. So.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. So I'm ready, Mr. Josh. So I'm just going to start doing this so everybody to see the process, okay? Hold on a second. That's it. Just can you hold on just a second for me?
Yeah.
Hold on. Almost there, you guys. Sorry. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Yep.
So Xinyan, this is Mr. Du. I am going to create this video for you. Okay, so I'm gonna watch this video, and I have watched it before, and I think you have done a beautiful, beautiful job. But I'm going to create a little video for you. There's a few suggestions I wanted to make, and here let's play it. Now this part right here, I know the music is fast, but you have to understand what you're doing. I know you know what you're doing. You say hello to the people on the left right here, but the speed of your port de bras, it needs to be a little bit slower, just because you have to address them first, then you say hello, right? You cannot do address and just do too fast. So this is not just a port de bras, it's actually a mime. You address them, you say, hi, thank you for coming to my village, and let me dance for you. So this port de bras right here, it needs to have a little bit vocabulary quality to it, okay? So it's coming up to the right side as well. This part, little longer. And here is to the audience. Okay, you did it very well. So here is to the audience, to here, and you say, this is what you say. You say, let me dance for you right here. So you have people to the left, people to the right, and you say here, and allow me to dance for you. So make that presentation a little bit more clear. Okay, let's moving on. Okay, this foot right here. Let's go back. I prefer not to do a chasse. I prefer to have a beautiful display that turned out like this. I'll show you. So instead, look at my foot. Instead of doing this, I prefer to do that before the releve. So it's a much better articulated approach to it. Let's go back again. I'll show you where I'm talking about. This foot, you see right here, I want that foot, the heel to be pushed forward and the toes on the floor. I want to see that position to be articulated before the plie releve. Understand? So nice and turned out to avoid this moment right here. And you do well that side. Do you see? You did it really beautiful on that side right here. This part, you see the heel turned out just because you had a beautiful tendu prior. And that is the better turned out just because you did tendu. So you have to do it on the right side, okay? So I want that period to stop with your head and your face to the audience. It's more exciting that way. So your hip is in the correct position, but your shoulders is toward me, but I want your shoulders to the audience like this. So hip to the audience, to the corner, and your shoulder to the audience, and arms more gracious, more giving, more generous, right? So your vision right here, look at your vision. Your vision is look up there somewhere. I would like for you to look the audience there to have a better finishing. So a la seconde is pretty good. I would like to see it a little longer. I want that a la seconde to have accent and hold just a little longer. Understand? So don't kick the leg. I need to see hold the position before you move on. This is a very important moment because we see your training there. Let's go back to you where. To the audience, and longer. You see, you drop the leg right away. I want to see the leg, the height of the leg, point your toes, and then hold a little longer. Now, afterwards, I want to see the pas de bras en tournant. I want to see a clear coup de pied derrière. I'll show you where. There. At this position right here, with your shoulder or your arm, I would like to see a proper coup de pied with your right foot back. Now, you just kind of went through it, but articulation of the pas de bras is so important. So, let's go back. And I also go longer. Coup de pied. Okay, moving on. So this is three step. Hold on a second. That's 3 step right here. So you go. This leg has to be right, left. This has to be a beautiful circle, like a beautiful rond de jambe before step arabesque. Okay, so and you have to, then both legs has to be stretched so nicely before you can step onto it. I'll show you where. This is fine. This is beautiful. So hold on a second. Let's go back before. A little before. This is fine. Beautiful here. That leg higher. Okay, and let's understand there. One more time. And one leg higher. Okay. This is beautiful. And up, up, stay. Beautiful turn. Okay, this part. You have to come back. You have to come back to say hello to somebody. Right here. And you have to come back before you run. So there's a person, in my point of view, on the corner. So this is your moment actually to collect yourself, to create a little pause so you can have a moment to control the speed of it before you run to the corner, okay, for that diagonal to happen. Now before we even play that diagonal, I want to make sure all accent has to be up. So you have a front leg, front, or you go front, and side, and up. All accent, now I'm looking at a little too even, right? So I want to see the accent up in this starting this diagonal. And continue on. This is beautiful. And to me a little longer, softer. Okay, watch the accent. And stay. Stay, stay. Yes, more exciting that way. Little hold. Okay, hold on a minute. Go back. You have to turn out the front foot a little bit longer. Longer. And look at the leg. Where's the direction of that front leg? It needs to be a little bit in front of you. Right now, it's like almost like a la seconde. Understand that? So the foot, the shape is very different. If I square off my hip, it creates a much better shape because the leg is in the front. If I put the front leg in the a la seconde position, it loses its tension. You see it right here? You have to be in front of your nose a little bit to create a tension, okay? Pay attention, and then need to see a little bit more turned out. You have to present the bottom of your foot to the audience in that particular case right there. Your chenille also. The chenille is you have to stretch your knees like a chopstick. Your knees has to be stretched like this. Okay, right now it's a little loose and the little gap is too wide between your chaîné. So the chaîné's heel has to be almost together. Okay, so just remember that. Stretch your knees, close your legs for chaîné. Turning is very beautiful in fifth position right there. And I love that little feeling right there. Very nice. Yes. The PK is fine. The PK is really great. You have a very good feeling to it. I love the energy and the physicality for the PK turns. And the issue is the chaîné. So the legs in chaîné has to be in this position right here. Almost touching together, heels. Not bend and turning and wide. Has to be like this. You have to feel doing chaîné. It's almost not moving. The traveling is not a part of the chaîné. The traveling is the nature of the step. You don't need to travel, purposely be traveling for chaînés. Understand? So stretch your knees and make your leg close, glued together for chaînés. So even more evident now, you're coming around the corner. Take a look. See? It's too big, too wide. A little late, just a little late. But you're doing this beautiful, beautiful job. You have a very nice feeling for this role, and I love the sensibility of your épaulement. I love the storytelling, and you look very beautiful in the costume, Xinyan. And I wanted to, just a few things that we talked about. Go back to look at this video and improve those. Okay, there's so much potential. You're a beautiful dancer. And great turns. Yeah, those beautiful, you have a high retiré and a beautiful demi-point. And I would love to, don't stuck a demi-point too long. Okay, you're a strong dancer. Eventually, slowly, I think it's time, slowly for you to start working on point. Yeah, if you're not, it's time to start because this could be a variation for you to be on point. Okay, so demi-point, just a transition, you have to eventually be on point for this. Okay, Xinyan, beautiful, and I want to wishing you good luck with all the competitions and let me know what else I can support you. Okay, you have a beautiful school and I see beautiful students coming out of your school. First point in Singapore. Thank you. See you next time. So this is what I learned. And then the video is right here for me. Right, this is the video right here. So I'm just gonna. Then I just sent that video to. Then I just sent this video to the parents, to the school. You know, I think it's very effective way for me to do. And I think I have a good time. You know why? Because I can stop every time. If there's a moment I wanted to talk about it, and I can just stop. So I think this is a very effective way for me to do this. Then I write a whole form, talk about diagonal, talk about the sensibility, talk about temperament. And so it's a lot of work for me to do this, produce a video and the writing all together. But I'm very happy. I'm having a very good time to do it. So is there any questions? Mr. Josh?
Yes, this one.
Okay, I'm currently 17 years old and has only been trained classically. Is there a future for me without having learned any other dance? You know, it's an interesting question. I do believe classical training, it builds a perfect foundation for you to learn something else. And when you say, can it be done? It can. Guess what? I can tell you the truth. I have never taken one single modern class in my life. Never. Not even one. I've never taken one jazz class. Not even one. I've never taken one contemporary class. Not even one. Never. I didn't have that in my education. Right? But my performing career, I have done countless contemporary work. And actually, I'm a choreographer. I won Outstanding Choreographer Award 2020 in YGP. So I don't have that kind of training, but I have classical training. So in my opinion, some people might disagree with me, which is fine with me. Classical training is really, truly the foundation for you to understand your body. It's all understand what my potential, what can I do with my body, the physicality, the energy source, the disposition, the balance, the weight shift, everything. Classical training prepare you for all this. So, but my recommendation is if those classes are available to you, please explore it. I didn't have it with me. I didn't have it in my training, right? I wish I had. So if those opportunities there for you, you should take advantage of it. And Mr. Du, do you have any tips on mentally coming to terms with where you are now versus where you were before when you are taking several years off? Apologies if there was a poorly. No, that's fine. I think, I'm not a psychologist, but I think one thing that's very important in our daily lives is acceptance. Now, that does not mean I'm just become giving up, complacent, and I'm just giving up everything. I do believe acceptance is the step one for improvement. I do believe this. So don't look back. It's done. It's over. It's a past. It's done. If you're taking a few years off, and that's just the pathway for you. This is just how it is. You just have to accept it. Accept the mentality and look forward. So you just have to, I grew up in my dormitory. Honestly, in my dormitory, there are 8 boys. 2 of them won awards in Prix Lausanne. What is odds of that? Me in the same dormitory with 8 boys, 2 of them won awards, the most prestigious awards in the world at that time before YGP. You just have to accept it's just a tough environment for you to be in. You just have to be better. So in your particular case, you have no choice. Understand? It's not like is there any whether I can accept this or not, whether mentally and compare myself versus. You only compare yourself to motivate yourself. You don't compare yourself past to see how great I was. I take a few years off and look at where I am now. God sent you here. There's a purpose for it. You look back for motivation, for inspiration, for energy, but your primary goal is look forward to see what can you do to your life now. Acceptance does not mean being lazy, being giving up or complacent. No, acceptance is number one for progress, number one. So I'm not a psychologist again, but I think this is what I want to say to you. Do you have any advice for how to deal with discouragement, which is we have that every day? And I'm an adult beginner. I've been taking class for 2 years, and my teacher moved me into the advanced adult class, and I'm struggling. Struggle, again, you have to accept it and welcome and embrace it. Struggle is a part of ballet learning, just like every day in life. I think a ballet is really great metaphor for life, really is. Because in every combination, every ballet class, we experience challenges and we get rewards. Every day, we have those every day. So it's not supposed to be easy. You're not here just, it's supposed to be walking down the park. It is ballet, it's never like this. But the beauty is, today's struggle does not mean tomorrow's struggle. Today's reward, you feel the joy, it might disappear in the next combination. And this is just how it is, how it is, right? So when you're moving to an advanced level, I'm sure your teacher had a reason for doing that. I'm sure there is a professional reason behind it. I don't think your teacher would have moved you from a beginner level to advanced level. I wish there is a intermediate. Is there intermediate level? like intermediate beginner or intermediate advanced. I would have preferred to see it there is an in between. But practice ballet safely, yes, and don't get discouraged, and do what you can. Listen to your body. This is one thing that I really want to talk to the adult students about. You have to listen to your body. Your body, you have to be aware the signals from your body. You have to be aware of the pain, what the kind of pain, the type of pain that you have. Some of them is nature of ballet practice. Some of them is abnormal. So you have to listen to your body, and that's how you get the most out of the training. But you have to embrace the struggle, and you have to let that be a part of your journey. I'm serious. It is a part of. I struggle every day. Every day, there's something for me to push forward. And in the ballet class, there's no difference in ballet classes. So, as an adult who is trained competitively, what do you think is the ideal weekly balance between class hours and the personal practice? You talk personal, you mean the private coaching. I'm sure you're talking about that, right? So I think it's not the balance you talk about here. I don't even think it's only limited to the dance. You have to create a balance with your life as well. So sometimes rest. It's not just do nothing. Your resting is give your body and mind a chance to recuperate so you can engage better the next day. So sometimes it is not the goal of pack the schedule. Sometimes being dancer, we have fear. Oh my God, I didn't take class today. It's like the world is gonna end. I didn't take class today. I have that feeling. I have that guilt all my career. If I don't take class today, I feel like everything's wrong. But you do have to create that resting, cushion time in between to allow the rest, to allow to recuperate, and then move forward. So I believe if you competitively, and I believe it's 3-4 days, you have to give a day a rest. Let's say, I think 4 days, you have to give, and naturally have a day off, but within the week, you have to, let's say, you work 3 days, and you have Thursday off. Then you work another 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you might have Monday off. So every 3 days, I would like to have a day off where I work on something else, right? You can listen to music. I train myself in the other aspect about the art form. And remember, don't have the guilt feeling that you're resting. It's not like being lazy. It's not. Resting is give your body a chance to recuperate and readjust, rebalance, so you can do better the next day. My daughter recently failed her 3rd try at going on point, and I was told that it was due to a sickling, and the bone structure cannot hold her back. Point thing. It is a pretty tough obstacle. It's a pretty tough obstacle because it's like a turned out rotation. Have everything to do with your hip structure. I've seen students with all kinds of there isn't a body that I encounter the same. I've seen students go to Grand Prix perfect turned out, but when you come up to the midpoint, they're turned in. It's just how their hip designed. But I do believe through exercise, especially how old is she? She's what? Did they say how old was she?
No.
She didn't. So if she's young, let's say she is, I don't know, before 10, like she's young, 11, young. And there is exercise, there is a manipulation. Sometimes the teacher is afraid to use their hands to help the students. I do believe it's important.
She's 17.
17?
Yeah.
Well, 17, there's what we can do at this moment, I do believe if it's a sickling, what teacher worry about is a safety issue here. Because 17, you develop the weight of your body is on top of the feet. If it's signaling, you understand the signaling they're talking about is here, like this. It go to the side. If your weight is distributed on the foot is is imbalanced, it's supposed to be on top. If she's swayed to the side, the teacher's reasoning is worry about safety, worry about she hurt herself with the weight on imbalanced distribution on her foot. So I do believe the teacher in that particular sense, if they say it's bone structure, if they say it's a structural issue, and she's signaling, I still do believe there is a way for her to experience point. I do believe that. And, but I would like to take a look at her to see if it is that severe, or there is the way we can help her to still have some kind of point experience. Yeah, I would be interested to see her before I make that that conclusion. Yeah, so you might want to take her to another teacher to see if they say the same way. All she wants is a point experience, right? She's not asking to do a principal role on point on stage. So she's asking a experience of learning. So we, as a teacher, we do have to open our mind to look at the situation to see if the students even qualified just to learn the technique, not perfect it or not to do the fancy stuff, but just to have learning experience, right? So if we limit it to the option of just to have a learning experience, I do believe there is possibility, but I'm not going to make that assessment until I take a look at her. What are the most important techniques that should be taught to adult beginners, posture, turnout, or something else? So adult students is interesting because adult students has a very much mature, developed mental capacity, and the intellectual part of their mind. I love working with adults because they ask most interesting questions, right? So their thought process is sometimes threw me like a curveball, and it really makes me think how to communicate, how to provide the best education to adults. So for me, there's two components of stimulation I like to provide to the adults. One is physical, yeah. One is the technique, and I like to introduce what I call it the genuine, real ballet. I'm not trying to create something like something fake. You know, I see a lot of adult classes. It's like they create something adult can do. It's almost like an entertainment for adults. It's almost like make adults feel good about themselves. But the feeling the best for adults is accomplish something for real, even if something simple and a little, but it's real. How they feel. Finally, they engage. They have access to that turned on muscle they never felt it before, right? Finally, they feel your toes. Finally, they feel the posture. So those things that I do believe through training, the adults absolutely can be able to benefit from learning ballet. However, if we just create something fake, if we create something like unreal for the adults, they will never learn, in my opinion. They will never learn. So I do believe posture, technique-wise, proper turned out as possible, and the way of access, correct energy, and rotation, it's important, right? For them to feel sense of tendu, the correctness in tendu, that has no age limits, in my opinion, right? So we have to teach the real ballet, use a real vocabulary. I do believe they can benefit that safely compared to if we make something up, because that has no perimeter. If we create something new, there's no guidance, there's no perimeter, right? And you can't create, every class create something new. They call it ballet. It doesn't work like that. And adults know that because they're smart, they're intellectual, developed people, they understand. So that's one thing. Everything that is tangible, everything it takes time, everything the ballet technique can offer, that we should offer. And that's what DUCON does, right? So why adults improved a lot and why adults say that they never felt this way before, and why adults, through all coaching, they're able to capture those beauty in the classical vibration. Because training, because we don't create some kind of elusive thing. And of course, the proper, real professional approach is safest, is safe. To me, the fake stuff, it's not safe. The real technique is safe because there's a guidance, there's perimeter, okay? And second element I like to create is artistic feelings, it's artistic sense about ballet. Is the musicality. To me, that has to be overlaid on top of the technique to create a sense of the sophistication about ballet technique, and the sense of artistry actually involves life experience. Actually, adults can feel the music more just because the richness of their lives. They can feel music better. So that part, I totally like to take advantage of it. Sometimes I describe it adagio. Adults totally get it, and the love and loss in the proper the connection between the steps, the music, and also I love to talk that part of it because I like to take advantage of the maturity of the adult students. So this is what are two things that I like to do, and that's what DUCON does to adults. So we have been in the adults ballet educational arena for many years now, and I'm proud of it, and I am proud of the community we built. And this year we're opening our first adult ballet competition, do the correct way, not just entertainment for adults to be on stage, wear costume, and feel great about themselves, which is phenomenal, but we always like to offer a real experience and not just something created just for adults only. It's not like that, right? First adult ballet competition, classical ballet competition in Singapore on the 14th of June. And there's a week prior from 8th to the 13th is the ballet intensive, DUCON, which is, I welcome everybody. That's the best segue, the training, the coaching, and to a evaluation with a beautiful competition, and everybody dance on stage to be properly judged, evaluated. Okay, and we have 2 weeks in Malaysia prior to that, and a lot of adults are doing both locations, which is unbelievable, and some adults are doing combinations. Let's say 1 week in Malaysia, 1 week in Singapore, then they go on to do the competition. I support that 100%. I do not support you participate in a competition, have no training and no coaching sessions, and that is not the way to capture the sensation, to capture the experience, right? The experience comes from education, training, coaching, and the proper evaluation. So that's the 3 things that DUCON has to offer. And we also do that to the students, exactly the same. Students program are mirrored to the adult programs, absolutely the same. 3 components: intensive, mock competition, which is for the students, and because students has a second round, the mock competition serves as the first round. So adults doesn't have that. Adults do directly into the competition, but students through mock competition, then they advance, for those of them advance to the last day, which is the 14th of June, 2026, is the first DUCON competition. And we are using very beautiful, people loving it right now, is Olympic competition style scoring, which is if we have 3 judges, right after you dance, we display our scores of that particular student. It's all open to the public. There's no controversy, no unfair favoritism or back, dealings and all that stuff. That is just, we don't have it here. Okay, you just go on stage, you get properly evaluated, and so I'm very excited. I'm very excited to provide that experience to the students and the adults, and so please sign up and I would love to see you in Malaysia, Singapore next summer, and have fun, and we sweat and everything together. Now, before we do that, the very next DUCON is DUCON DNV, which is people ask what is DNV. DMV means District of Columbia, which is Washington D.C. M means Maryland, which is the competition is going to the DUCON winter is going to be held in Maryland. V means Virginia. It's the two states surrounding Washington D.C. So DNV, it means that it's just a region here surrounding the capital of the United States. So this particular variation coaching special is specially designed for coaching variations, because that particular time, it's a very interesting time, because spring, right after the Christmas and New Year's, is just the climax of all the competitions, right? All the regionals and the finals, YGP finals in May in Texas, in Houston, Texas this year. So this is your time. When everybody else is taking a rest, guess what? This is your opportunity to hone in on that specific things, that variation you want to get ahead. You wanted to polish. If you already received to go to the finals, the invitation to the finals, and that's your opportunity to fine-tuning and to coaching to get yourself that much better. You know, YGP finals is no joke. It's absolutely no joke. There's no competition in the world is anywhere near the intensity, the excellence of that gathering. I call it literally, it's a gathering. It's like a 10 days long, unbelievable, the best student in the world. By the number, it's not just 20 students, no. The numbers, hundreds students, dozens, the best teacher in the world, most famous director in the world, is all gonna be there. So how are you gonna participate? How are you gonna posture yourself, position yourself to get that scholarship that you want, to be recognized, to be rewarded? Through what? Work, when others not. That's only time, only way. That's how when I was in school, when others, that's only way for me to get ahead is work harder. There's no complicated math or strategy. It's just when others not working, you are, right? So you can bring your very best self to the regionals, to the finals, and it's just time and effort. You know, it's just there's no shortcuts. So please, I think we only have 10 spots left. So that's auditioned. So you have to send me a video or participate in my Zoom classes. So we needed to audition for this. But Singapore, Malaysia, sign up and have your experience, a complete experience. And as soon as you sign up for Malaysia, for Singapore, you will have 10 free classes with me immediately. I teach beautiful Zoom classes, and it's a time that works for you in Singapore, Malaysia time. So there's no excuse. So I would like to know your student. I would like to know you before I even teach you in person. So sometimes if we have 5 days of coaching time, you and I, your students, 12-year-olds, meet me, adult, take them 3 days just to be relaxed enough to learn things, right? So but in our structure, we call it the blueprint, the road to success, pre-DUCON. So you have the Zoom videos with me, it's for free. It's inside that registration. So you and I already know each other. I already know your child. The weaknesses, the strength, everything. I already know. So when we finally meet in Malaysia or Singapore, that compound experience through my technique class with her, that I already know what she needs at DUCON. I already know in June or May, late May, I already know this June, what can we do with her. So this is, I call it just the concentrated, the effort just to make DUCON experience that much more beneficial and impactful. So we're not just meet each other to have that a couple master classes and suddenly, no. We do have the ability, but in order for your students to enjoy the benefit this in the very intense way, we already know each other. So that's why we have provided you pre-DUCON, the blueprint road to success. Nobody else does that. And you know amount of work we have. So I just showed you how I do the blueprint, right? That took me about 20 minutes to do it. Then I have to write a report for each child. This is all for free. Tell me who else is doing that? Who is crazy enough to do it? Only we are. Only we are. Because you know why? We have the best, your child, we have the best interest in your child. This is why. We don't just have you pay and do as less as possible, as less, if we can get away with a package something fake. We'll put it all together and it just looks great on paper, but there's no substance. There's a whole lot products out there. Always not like that. Always provide tangible, real coaching, like what I'm doing, what I just did. You tell me which school, which competition is doing what I'm doing. What I just did. Name one. Then you can sign up their competition. No one crazy enough to do it. Okay? Technology, efficiency, and dedication. Your child's interest and the benefit is all interest and benefit, period. That's why we're doing this. So when we meet, it's like golden, beautiful. Okay, our experience is phenomenal. Then you have 5 days with us. Then you have mock competition. It's like a dress rehearsal for your child to feel the stage and receive another layer of the corrections on stage. For those of you who knows mock competition is the best thing we ever invented. So it's basically a stepping stone between the studio experience and the real competition experience. It's mock competition, it's like a mock trial at a law school, right? The students pretend to be criminals, the students pretend to be lawyers, pretend to be judges. It's a mock trial. So based on that, we create a mock competition. Not real competition, but it's a mimic the experience for them to feel more comfortable the next day if they enter the second round, the final round. And when we have all this, finally they go on stage to present their best, right? So after that, do you think we're done? No, we're not done. We have another product you do have to pay extra. It's called the Momentum Pass. So your experience with us, it's not like a cliff dive down when we leave. No, you have Momentum Pass. It's another product we offer for you to capture and retain and continue the benefit of DUCON throughout the entire year. So the blueprint itself, I just described, you have 3 more times, 3. Every quarter you have one before we meet again. Can you imagine? Like, you can send me the video, like she or he is going to go to the competition. Here's the video that we did before. And can you take a look? I will take a look. I write evaluation. And you have also technique class with me. Yeah, single time, and you have a special master classes with me as well. All this, there's a fee for that, but we give you heavily, heavily discount. You know how much work we have done here. Who is doing that? Nobody. I can tell you that right now, nobody, okay? Because we don't just have a transaction and we're done. No, this transaction, this involvement of training and have me as a supportive figure for you, it lasts going on even after the project is over. Okay, so that's our promise. And I am super, super excited about offering those products for you. And I can't wait to see the results. I can't wait to see the improvement. I can't wait. And I think it's a game changer. I think it's a game changer. And I think I put all those other things out there. And I don't want it to be a follower, you know? I think for those of you who knows me at this moment, I don't want it to copy others. I don't want it to learn others and just copy. Because when you copy, you're never as good as original. Right? So you agree with me on that. So if somebody's already have a good idea, you know what, instead of I'm working on my own idea, I'm just copy that idea. I can never be as good as original. That's a simple concept you can understand. So that's why I don't want to be a copier. I want to be a leader. I want to be the one set new standards, creating new products. Let others to follow me, hopefully heading to a right direction and changes some of the stuff that you cannot stand in our industry. So I wanted to be the leadership of that, and hopefully your child is going to be is going to benefit from all those changes that I'm personally making to create a better product to serve you and your students in your school. So thank you. So it's wow.
Just last question.
Oh, okay, no problem. Let me take a look. I'm proud of myself. We started at 9 o'clock. Beautiful.
We started at 8 o'clock.
Oh wait, we started at 8. So it's more than 2.5 hours. Well, that's a record. Live stream. Thank you for we still have a large group of people with us. So she said, I'm starting this amazing art with 25-year-old, so I don't have flexibility. What kind of exercise do you recommend? How many times must I work every day for results? By the way, greeting from Venezuela. Beautiful. Venezuela produced some of the very, very good ballet dancers, and I personally worked with a couple before. Flexibility, again, what you have now is just what you have. It's like the concept of boiling water, right? You have a cup of cold water. You have to put on the fire in order to make the temperature change. So flexibility is absolutely, you can absolutely work on. I can teach you something, I can give you something so simple right now, you can do at home. It does not need fancy equipment, does not need elastic or the ring, the metal thing, it doesn't need any of that. You just need at home. I can tell you right now. So if you're stay in the office, if you're in office, right? If you work in office, every now and then you stand up, you put the leg on your chair like this. That's flexibility right there. You just push forward. Look at my foot. I'm flexing my foot to increase the intensity, right? I'm just pushing forward like this. That's your front leg. That's where the 45 degree, that's where the fondue goes, right? And to the side, keep in mind, my leg's very low, okay? Like that, very low. And to the back, look at me, like this. Plie. You can do this with minimum space. This is my back leg. Plie, hold on to my back. And then come back to second again. Just give a little plie. 4 times or 8, and then come back to the front leg. You see, I didn't even move. I did that I can do this in my office. Like this, right? I can change my leg. I do plie 4 or 8 times. I'm pushing forward gently. I open to the side, that's my à la seconde. Then I open, continue to, that's my back leg. I mean, I feel so good just doing this right now. Then my chair, right? So if you want to increase the intensity, and I use the bar. So you have a bar at home. We can do that. It's the same regimen. You can put the leg up. So again, my thing is let ballet training be in your everyday life, right? It's not just to go to a ballet class, right? You can look at my YouTube channel. Literally, there's thousands of hours of classes and information. It's all at your fingertips. So I encourage you just embrace life ballet into your lives. It's not just you have to go to a studio and every day take a class. Yes, that would be great. I would recommend you do that twice a week, 2 times a week, right? Every 3 days, you take one and another 3 days. So that would be my recommendation. And however, homework is important. Ask your teachers if they have any homework for you. So that class experience, it doesn't end at the 90 minutes. You can take the homework home with you and write down on the clipboard. While you are not in the ballet class, you do the simple exercises at home. So you keep building that strength, you keep building that experience, you let your body keep experience the physicality of the ballet technique. So that would be truly my recommendation. Flexibility is one of the easiest things to accomplish. Musicality is hard, artistry is hard. Flexibility is easier because you can have a very tangible goal. And I always believe you have to collect the data, right? So for example, let's say today, my leg flex my foot, I'm pushing forward at this degree, I feel the pain, I feel the pressure. You take a picture of this, right? 3 weeks later, we'll come back again to see if I improved or not, right? Since everything takes little time because you're working with a body, you're not working with a computer. And that's the fun of participating in ballet. It's the journey itself. People say, the journey. It's true. It is. It's about the process. It's about the journey. Sometimes I cook things. It's not like I wanted to eat a lot in it, but the process of cooking, it relaxes me a little bit, right? I look at the different things. I work with different things. It's completely different from my work. So it's the process. I have enjoyment in the process. So embrace the process. Please don't be impatient. This is one thing I really wanted to give to adult students. Don't compare yourself to when I was 16, I did this. Guess what? That's the history. It's the back. We look forward. Yeah, enjoy the process, embrace the process, and then don't have a tangible plan, right? To create. And sometimes I always see adults to do something so intense that they're burned out, right? Then the body can take it. So create something long-lasting, and you will feel the fruit, the reward that may come a little later, but when it comes, you can really feel it. So that's my recommendation to this question. But I want to thank you to all of you to spend the time. If you've been with me from beginning, this is 2 hours and 44 minutes. It's almost 3 hours. And I just having a really great time to express myself and have a connection with everybody. So see you all next time. And I want to thank you again. Thank you again. Okay, for your time, for your energy. I can feel every single one of you. Thank you so much. See you next time.